Hey, it's Soul, and I'm about to defile the Battle for Azeroth Cinematic with my commentary. So, here we go. So, here we have an entire Alliance army right at Lordaeron's gates, and yet, where did they come from? It makes me wonder, okay, so where's the Alliance Navy? There's apparently no Navy to be found, which kind of explains the whole campaign for Kulturas and everything. Okay, that's cool, but how did the Alliance get here in the first place? There's a lot of guys down there. I would say like probably tens of thousands of guys and girls that are down there, all attacking the city. They have entire they have siege fortifications and long range stuff and everything. How did they get there? And how the heck did the Undercity apparently just kind of sit there unawares? Regardless, though, it looks really cool from up top, don't it?
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
Well, she looks good, by the way, and I still can't explain the funny eyebrows, but why is the Horde up there too? I mean, the Undercity is underground, as we all know, and Lordaeron is, for the most part, just a useless husk. I mean, the Forsaken don't really use it for much of anything, so it should be easy enough to just kind of retreat all the way down into the Undercity itself, and that should be it. So there seems to be a lot that has led up to this moment. There might have been something that causes the Horde to evacuate the Undercity, and then all of a sudden outside there's an entire Alliance army that's waiting for them. It could have been a thing where the Alliance had invaded or had somehow done something with that alternate entrance that the Undercity has, but I think that for story purposes, I think they might just kind of retcon or otherwise forget about that alternate entrance. Regardless, though, it doesn't, there's a lot to be thought about when it comes to why the Horde are up there in the first place when they could just be hiding in the ground waiting for the Alliance to come in, so that way the Horde can use, well, whatever means necessary. And remember, this is the Undercity. Like, you'd figure that plague bombs, don't you have plague bombs? I mean, Sylvanas is going as far as raising the dead. Should, chemical weapons be that big of a deal either? I wouldn't think so.
Advance has won.
Show off.
Will be ours. My king, we have her cornered.
So that's a badass helmet and armor set. Why the helmet though? It seems a bit much, right? I mean, maybe it's because he's younger and they're like, hey, you know what? You're not battle hardened. Maybe you can't just suddenly deflect arrows like your father can. Or maybe he's just like, oh, I want to protect my beautiful face because I know that I'm so hot and I don't want to show anybody. It's hard to tell, but I mean, obviously he makes himself a pretty easy target, and apparently, well, he doesn't give a damn. And they're pretty close, by proximity, they're really close to the Undercity itself too. I think it's like the first time since what, Burning Crusade, that we've even seen Forsaken in a cinematic. Hey, finally. And why are they firing? They know that giant siege engines are coming. They obviously don't have the armaments to counter like that big of an army. They should be concentrating on taking out those big siege armaments instead of going pew pew pew, or like I said, plague bombs. They could just use some freaking plague bombs. See? And they look cool, I gotta say. And they look kind of cool too. Look how elaborate these siege armaments are. Like, I'm just baffled by the fact that this huge army can show up with nice looking stuff just out of nowhere. And yet, again, for some reason, there's no navy that's bombarding the Undercity, that's bombarding Lordaeron from behind to otherwise at least distract Sylvanas and her army. Give them a false sense of what's going on. And there's a lot of players that there's a lot of folks that just aren't showing up either. I mean, we see like little snippets of the other races here, but it's not so much. So we got to wonder, like, where's Velen? Where is the not enough leadership? I mean, they might be around here somewhere. They just don't happen to be in the cinematic. But there are a number of characters that are noticeably absent. But the ones that do show up, I'd say that that's pretty significant too. My man, Saurfang. If you guys didn't recognize him, that's definitely got to be Saurfang with the armor set, even though it's red. I think it's just recolored because, I don't know, maybe it's covered with Alliance blood. Who knows? I was just saying earlier that those that do show up in the cinematic, there's a significance to that. So with this being supposed, I think this is Saurfang's first time in a high level cinematic like this, like an intro. So it makes me wonder what's going to be his fate. So it makes me kind of scared. Is Saurfang going to survive the battle for Lordaeron? I don't know. It's hard to say. I really want him to. If they don't, this better be like a really good trade-off. Like, Malfurion better be dead because of this, or something like that. There better be a good trade for Saurfang. And I know that he's been largely underrated. There hasn't been enough given to him, but he's the orc leader, and he's shown up. So that's got to mean something. And she's obviously pissed. She's like, dude, they're getting this close. I don't know why they're not hiding behind the walls either. But she's like, fuck this. Whew. Now, before I get to that, there's a buildup that I foresee here. Like, there's a kind, the way that they produce this video, they really wanted to invoke really heavy emotions, and it's like you'll see this upcoming event, and then there's like a bit of spectacle so that the audience can just really get into it, and they definitely do. And well, you know what? Let's just go through this, okay? Just that. I mean, she goes all banshee, and like around us, like the whole crowd. I was towards the back over at BlizzCon, and the crowd just erupted. Like everyone just shit their pants. Oh my gosh, she went fucking banshee on these guys. So while the crowd was going nuts, they're watching those footmen drop, and it's just making the roars get even louder. And then there's just that moment where we're just trying to breathe. And then when she calls out for the horde, and that moment of silence where, like, even right now, just kind of thinking about it, I just feel the emotions just welling up inside Horde fans. And it's very uncharacteristic of Sylvanas to do this, right? Because we've seen historically that, you know, the Forsaken, they joined the Horde out of convenience. They were being oppressed and what have you. It was just convenient. And because of that, it made Sylvanas being elevated to worship very uncharacteristic. It didn't seem to have the kind of, we didn't feel very good about it. A lot of us didn't feel very good about it, even though some of us are big fans of Sylvanas Windrunner. As War Chief, I don't know, we're more interested in her doing her own thing and her own agenda. So for her to be elevated to the spotlight like this makes this feel kind of weird. That's what made this really significant for me, at least. That's what really connected with me, is that she finally was like, okay, for the Horde, she really embraced her role and what her actions can do to inspire people. Because here's Saurfang about to get out to be like, fuck yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Because he didn't say it. It sounds good coming from an orc with the low growl and the fart. I'm not even gonna try it, but it feels good. It feels good. We're used to that. But now we're hearing it from someone who we're not accustomed to hearing it, and that's what makes it especially gratifying for people to have heard and seen. Him too, you feel me?
Push forward!
Meanwhile, somehow Anduin's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna drop 2 orcs like nothing. I'm just gonna take these guys down with just 2 swipes." So either that weapon is like super overpowered, or those grunts are just like total punks that somehow made it all the way to the front. Not to take away from Anduin's ability at all, but it's a little surprising seeing how this is, to my memory, his first time in actual combat, let alone war, direct war against the Horde War Chief. But not Saurfang. Saurfang's gonna jack you up, alright? So here we get our first real glimpse at Anduin Wrynn, the hottie of Stormwind. I mean, there's been a lot of different feedback, but largely it's, wow, he looks like a little baby. And it's funny because we've seen his character model change over the years. You know, from of course the little kid, we've seen him grow, and we've seen him look, you know, as an in-game model, much more adult than this. You know, here we're seeing, you know, what looks like a very, very fresh face. You know, almost. Well, okay, maybe not so much now, but largely unscarred until Saurfang did a number on him. Good job, Saurfang. Well done. See, that just goes to show that either Anduin's like super strong, or no, sorry, we're definitely not going to do like shaman tanks, because that guy got that guy got blasted. All right. So you gotta wonder what's going through Anduin's mind at this moment. I mean, he's seeing these guys losing, but is he like, oh man, my people are dying, or I gotta get this win? And I think we're gonna find out. Mr. Overpowered Priest guy. See, this is the moment where like everyone gets stunned except for the enemy. Or, you know, except for, you know, this guy who's able to get everyone up, and no one else is moving. You don't see the Horde, like, chucking spears at him. You don't see the Horde, like, just charging in, being like, F this, what's this like crap? Forget it. They're just standing there. It's baffling, but it's great for spectacle. You know, he liked it. Let me rewind this just a little bit. He liked it. The way that he had that, yeah, see, he likes it. He wants war. Well, okay, maybe he doesn't want war, but he's definitely proud of this accomplishment. He rallied his guys together, and you know, everyone at the very least is back on even ground. It's on, and he likes that. So, I mean, we're gonna have to see how Anduin's maybe bloodlust plays out in the future. Maybe this isn't bloodlust, but the way that I'm seeing this as is, you know, him getting a real taste of battle, and I think he likes it. So this really takes us back to that classic conflict, the shirtless Garrosh hunk-looking guy versus the, you know, fully armed, ready to go footmen, and then all their buddies. You know, like there's a Draenei back there. I see Tauren, and looks like a troll back there. You know, they're ready to go to town. So this cinematic is amazing. Like it really harkens back to the good old days of classic towards classic Warcraft, where you have the two armies smashing against each other for no good reason, even when there are much smarter ways to fight, mages, with mages and monobombs and airships and naval, a navy. So seeing this class of fight, it really is a homage to how things were. Now, of course, in game wise, it's going to play out like totally differently, but we're seeing a very clear direction of what the direction of this expansion is going to be. As for whether or not it's going to be a straight line through, whether it's going to be cool Horde versus Alliance through and through, we're going to, build up Kulturas and build up the Zandalari Empire, get the navy together, and so we can smash ourselves into each other again. What's going to happen after that, though? Those are the questions that obviously aren't going to be answered here in the cinematic. This is all just the lead up to really get our gears going. But what do you think of the cinematic? Is it awesome? Did it suck? Were there things that you just did not like about it? Or were there other details that you saw that I didn't notice? Because I'm really just kind of going through this cinematic, doing this once over, and kind of doing my own reactions and little bits of short analysis on it. So feel free to share your thoughts, like and subscribe if you want more of this content and analysis and everything, and all this coverage of Battle for Azeroth. And well, I'll see you next time. So stay safe, stay happy, and as always, stay breezy.